Welcome to A Field of Perspectives, where ideas take root and conversations grow. I'm Brittany, your host. Each week, we step into new terrain, exploring fresh viewpoints, challenging assumptions, and learning from every walk of life. From personal stories to powerful insights, this is a space where every voice matters. Join us in A Field of Perspectives. Subscribe now and let's grow together.
Welcome back to A Field of Perspectives. I am your host, Brittany, and today we're stepping into one of the most profound human experiences, birth. Our guest, Reatta, a student midwife whose work sits at the intersection of tradition, intuition, and care. In this conversation, we explored a deeply personal path that led her to birth work and what it means to truly support someone in labor and how she sees the evolving culture of maternity care. Whether you've given birth, supported a birth, or are simply curious about the power and complexity of the rite of passage, this is a space to listen, learn, and feel. Reatta Chisholm-Harris is the founder of Rebirthing a Star. It is a maternal and mental health sanctuary founded by her. She is a student midwife whose journey through loss of birth and healing inspired her to empower others. After experiencing unnecessary cesareans and a powerful return to natural birth, she now helps families reclaim their birthing power through the holistic care, I can't even talk, herbal healing, and love and support. So let's bring on Reatta. Thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing?
I am well. I truly appreciate you being here and providing your knowledge and, educating people that don't know too much.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
excited.
Yes, me too. I'm excited to learn. That's my biggest thing. I like learning.
Right, I know, right? Always a student.
Exactly, exactly. So, of course, my first question to you is what first drew you to midwifery, and was there a moment that lit the spark for you?
So, ever since I was young, I always had a dream of opening up a birthing center and just helping women through birth. Through my first son, me and my cousin actually like had this plan of, okay, we're gonna nurse our kids to this set time, but as we were nursing, we never accomplished it. We always went past the time. Like we was like, you always have this, oh, I'm gonna stop at one. But it
Yeah.
just kept going, it kept going. And next thing you know, I'm nursing a 3-year-old, right?
Yes.
So I was like, okay. So it's always been like something that's always brought me back to the moment of this is my moment of being with kids, and I need to be with women and nurturing kids and healing. And it's like I always try to go away from it.
Yeah.
It's always been something to bring me right back to that moment.
That's a calling. That's a
Yeah,
calling.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is amazing. Now, do you remember your very first birth as a midwife, and what was the experience like?
So the very first birth it was a little boy. It was me and my friend. She's a lay midwife who was doing home births, and it was really well. Like everybody was there. She had her mom, her mother-in-law was there, her aunt was there, the kids was there. It was just like, and everybody just had this so real moment. It was quiet.
Wow.
It was like it was totally the opposite of what you see in the movies.
Yeah.
Nobody screaming, nobody running pantically, running around like, oh, we gotta. It was none of that. Like all the kids was in tune. They was ready for the baby to come out, you know. And once the baby got there, they're like, oh, can we hold the baby? But it was like it was no rushing or no, no fancy or panicking or nothing like that. It was
Right.
really surreal. And
Wow.
and
I
I
know.
think I posted that picture recently, like 2 weeks ago on my Facebook page.
Wow. See, the
Yeah,
support, I'm pretty sure the mom felt like it was
pure
everything,
love.
like, felt like she was cared for, loved for, and everything. I know that
Yeah,
had to be an amazing experience for her
yeah,
to have that support. Support is real.
yes, yes. And you get to see me and my son in that picture. We're just sitting on the outside of the birthing pool, just like looking. And it's her, the baby. She's holding the baby, or either the dad's holding the baby, and he's in the water with her. And the other
Aw.
lady is sitting there, just is leaned in, looking like, okay. watching her
Yeah,
nurse the baby. So it was just like, yeah, it's like
yeah,
some moments like you can't get back, and this is like you actually capture that moment, and like, oh, so dope.
exactly.
Yeah,
So what was that her first choice to do to have a midwife, or was it just like something she
yeah.
was just like,
That was actually her first choice. So
wow,
and that's another thing I love too, like having people that already have the mindset. So it's not like I'm trying to talk you into this, or
yeah.
already aligned in you, and this is
Oh,
what you're choosing to do.
right, right. That
And it
made
was
it
her first
easier.
kid. So that was it. Yes, that's what I was saying, girl. Yes. Uh-huh.
Let me tell you, I didn't know about midwife and doula until like, it was my second child, and I'm just by that
See?
time it's just like, oh well, now it's too far in. I'm like
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. Like you don't think about that stuff until like the second, third kid. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Right,
don't think about that. So for
exactly.
her first kid, like she already set the bar straight. So it's like
Yeah.
she's never going nowhere else besides that.
Wow. So over the years, what is something about this work that has genuinely surprised you?
What's genuinely surprised me is how in tune we are with our bodies as women, and how yes, like we really be overthinking things sometimes. And I say that a lot. Like this is what I tell women. Like, do you not realize that when you go into the doctor's office, you're telling them what's wrong with you, right?
Mhm.
They're typing it into the laptop
Yeah.
and they're telling you what the laptop is giving out, but you mentally and physically know what's going on a lot of
Exactly.
times.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's what really surprises me, like how in tune we are with ourselves, and intuition is like never lying, like spot
Right.
on. All
Always.
girl, all the time.
I don't know why we be playing with ourselves on
Yeah.
our emotions, feelings, and things. That intuition is 100%
Yes.
right every
Yes.
time.
Yes. Really.
Every time. No ifs, ands, or
Hmm.
buts about that.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
for those who may not know, how would you explain the difference between a midwife and an OBGYN?
Okay. So OBGYN is a doctor that can perform surgeries like the C-sections and things of that nature. They go to school for 4 years for residency. Midwives typically are either a certified nurse midwife, so they either went to school for being an RN, or they're a certified practitioner midwife. So you can do holistic care, or have basically go the holistic route.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we can't perform surgeries, of course, like C-sections and things like that. So
Yeah.
that's really the huge difference. And that's
And
enough. A lot of times why people tell women, like when they're choosing a doctor's office, try to choose a doctor's office that has more midwives there. Because
mm,
a lot of times the OBGYNs will push your agenda of just doing a C-section, because it's more easier for them, you know. And of course, it's you get more money for it, of course.
yeah.
And they don't want to go, us midwives, we're like, oh, well, let me just, okay, the baby's turned this way. Let me put you in this position. Let me
Mhm.
do this.
Mhm.
They're not trying to do all that. Let me
Yeah.
just crack it open and let's just get the baby out. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Of
Like,
course.
it's sad to say, but I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Really, it
Yeah.
really is. That's the truth. I definitely agree with you on that. And one thing that I noticed during my birth is that the nurses were doing more than the
Yeah.
actual OBGYN. And it's
Yeah.
like they knew more than it
Mhm.
was weird. I'm like,
Yes, girl. That's what a lot of the nurses be saying. Like, we are really the spearhead of medical of medical for real. Like the
yes,
nurses, I'm telling you. That's what
yes,
I had made a post about CNAs on my TikTok, and it was like, we are really the heart of things too.
yes,
Like when it comes to life and death, like CNAs are really there. Like it's crazy. They try
exactly.
to push it down and, oh, you just this, you just that. No,
Nope,
baby.
nope,
Yeah,
nope. They
because if
put
it
in the
wasn't for
work.
me,
Right.
right. Uh-huh.
Putting in that work. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, they're hands on and they have the experience,
Yep.
the knowing the patient, and
Yes.
that's important, especially when
Yes.
you're talking about good care. That is
Mhm.
important to actually know your patient and what they are needing.
Yeah, you want to go in and they remember something that you said last appointment, will not keep asking you the same thing over and over. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Yeah,
exactly. That's amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing. I love that. And so birth is such a vulnerable time. How do you
yeah.
approach supporting parents emotionally and not just physically?
Okay. I support parents, one, because it's so mental, and a lot of times if we're not mentally prepared for birth, it will throw everything off.
Right.
Like your pelvis can't open up. It's just so much. Like if like even with the birth that I was telling you about that I did, it was like she was waiting on somebody to get there. And it's like
Mhm.
as if the baby wouldn't come out, until her aunt got there. So it's just like, if you're not mentally girl, yes.
Right.
Like
You're
you're not
right.
mentally there and you mentally drained. That's even like being sleep deprived, like your rest. And that's a lot of
Ooh.
times, yeah, like that's a lot of times eating too, at home births. It's important to get food, not certain foods, but
Yeah.
light things, because just in case you might vomit or something like that. But
Right.
it's your mental is important, and
You
preparing the husband to know that everything she might say or everything she might do, don't take it personal. It's not
Yeah.
that you have to know your person.
Yes. Yes. How do you help the men? That's what I wanna know. Cause honey, I
Girl,
needed you for my birth. Cause my husband, I promise you, he was in a whole 'nother world when I was giving birth.
you know what? You help the men by showing them birthing videos, and also just telling them to get to know you, like because
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a prime example. I think you about to ask me this question. I was gonna use it for that question, but let me tell you this. I had girl, yes. Listen, I had a birth, and the lady was like, "I just don't want to be touched. I just want to, go through my pain by myself." And like he was just like feeling kind of awkward and like as if he wasn't present.
Mhm.
So it was like a disconnect,
Yeah.
So really knowing your person at pain, it really does help,
Yeah.
because some people are really good at pain, and then we have other people that want to console the pain, but you really
Yes.
need to release it.
Mhm.
And a lot of times people don't, like, I guess because it was her first birth, like she, sometimes they're like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, but it really didn't go the way that she thought it would go. So
Oh.
it's like, yeah, you have to really release it, and you gonna want that shoulder to lean on,
Yes.
you know because baby, it's a thin line, and things can go the other way real
That's for
quickly.
sure. That's
Yeah,
for sure. And I'm pretty sure you have been in situations where you're like, oh my goodness, like I really have to get a hold of not just the support that's here.
yeah,
Well, not just the mom, but the support that's here as well.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I know that can be some tough situations.
yeah.
Especially if something's going on with the baby or even the mother. Oh,
Mhm.
that's tough. So you
Yeah,
have a tough job.
yep,
Now,
exactly.
are there any myths or misunderstandings about midwifery that you often find yourself correcting?
I feel like the misunderstandings would be thinking that midwives aren't capable of this type of work. A lot of times people feel like a doctor that oh yeah, he's the best. A doctor that went to study for 4 years knows a woman body, but you have to realize that, honey, that doctor only really studied a woman body probably for like two months out of that whole 4 year residency. So he does not know a woman's body like another woman, or even, what I'm saying, somebody that's
Right.
just been doing this continuously, you
Wow.
know and they're not even honestly taking the time to get to know the woman's body, because they're just going to another option outside of say, okay, well, let me try to put you in this position, because they have so many other patients that they have to attend to that's on that same hall. Let's
Yeah.
be real here, so they're just trying to, get it out the way so they can clock out or clock in and go home.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth.
Yep.
So when you have somebody that's right there, that's mentally locked in with you and holding your hand and is willing to stay there until the very end, that's
Mm.
something totally different.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the time. You're paying for the services, the nurturing, the loving.
Yeah.
The doctors, you're not really necessarily getting that one-on-one.
No. Mm-mm. You're not getting that support. You're not getting your hand held or anything like that.
Exactly.
And, you know, and it's so crazy because during my first birth,
Yeah.
I switched my doctors at birth,
Mm.
which was like,
Mm.
it was such a big difference from when the care I was going to a female OBGYN. I was
Uh-huh.
going with the care of her all my whole 9 months.
Okay.
She wasn't connecting with me, it was just like I was just a patient, a number,
Yeah.
let's have another birth. But when I got to, when it was time, I got induced and everything. So
Yeah.
when it was time, they had a doctor already there, and he gave me so much care,
Oh.
and so much connection, and all of that. Now it's very rare to get that, but I asked him personally. I said, "Can you please stay and not call my doctor?"
Yeah. Because like once we feel that energy and be connected, it's like you don't want that
Yes.
person to leave.
Exactly. Like I need the real support. This is before I knew about doulas and all that. So, you
Yeah.
know, to actually have someone that care, I know doulas are like this, with
Yeah.
care and support. So
Yes.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Your job is amazing. It's not even a job, it's your passion, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a calling for sure. Because you can definitely feel when it's just like a job for some people, or if it's just you
Yeah,
have
right.
to find the right person.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And you
I
gotta
mean, but
really
that's it.
connect.
That's in any profession though, for real, honestly.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Now, with so many deaths and so many things going on with the Black maternity care, so many issues with that, and numbers keep rising.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on where maternity care stands today, especially here in the U.S.?
I feel like it stands in well, honestly, I feel like it needs to get back in our hands and they need to listen to the people more. And honestly, I feel like they definitely need to bring back more midwives.
Yeah.
Even in North Carolina, they shut down, well, Charlotte, North Carolina, they shut down the one birthing center that we did have in Charlotte. So yeah, I was gonna have one of my kids there, but that didn't
Oh,
happen. And
right.
then another thing is too, like a lot of times, um, even with going through the doctors, a lot of times they feel like if you've had a C-section before, that they don't think that you can have a vaginal birth. That
Yep.
was another issue that I was having. I had 2 C-sections, and when I called the birthing center that was here in Charlotte, they
Mhm.
didn't want to offer me care because of because of the 2 C-sections.
Wow.
So I had to find a midwife from South Carolina to birth my daughter, because it was like, like just
Wow.
because you have a C-section doesn't mean that you can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I hear that a lot with Black mothers and mothers, period. Once you have
Yeah.
a C-section, they're like, we're going to
Yep.
continue C-sections. And I'm
And
like,
that's what he told me. He
yeah,
literally told me that. Because I
that is,
asked him after my second son, and for the postpartum checkup, I
mhm,
said, well, what is my options, after this one if I choose to have any more kids. He was like, oh,
right.
we'll just get you another C-section because it didn't progress. I said, oh no. Now I could have tried to find another doctor, but
Yeah.
at that point I was like, nah. I told you
Yeah.
something to keep bringing me right back to that moment. Like,
Yes.
so,
Yes.
yep.
Wow. See, that's
Yeah.
the thing. And what I'm seeing a lot is Atrium is actually bringing on a doulas program and having doulas with the OBGYNs. And I'm like, really? This
Yeah.
is amazing. Like they're trying
Yeah.
to change the narrative and how things are. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
A lot
more
of my
women
doula
are
friends are doing
speaking
it.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That is amazing. So when it comes to choosing between a hospital, home birth, or a birthing center, what do you encourage parents to think about?
I encourage them to think about their mental, their resources, and their village. Because a lot of times you'll have family members that are discouraged and they're like, oh, what you doing a home birth for? Or even their spouse. Like the woman might really want to do it, but then the husband really don't. So then it's
Right.
like you might have the midwife come in and now she's trying to convince the husband to do this home birth that he's just so hell bent off of not doing, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
you have to like really do your groundwork and send out videos of showing this can be a success. Like don't make it be scary or whatever. Like, and also with even doing a hospital birth, make sure you don't have to go with the first doctor that you go see.
No.
Like you chose at the end, like you can advocate for yourself at the very end. Like, hey, look, I don't want y'all. You know what I'm saying? You have that option. We be forgetting that because they'll make you feel as though you don't have that option,
You're
and
right.
they'll scare you into thinking it too.
That is
Honestly.
true. That is true. Not only that, it's like they want to make the plans for you. I didn't learn until my last birth that I could advocate for myself and say what I want, how I want, when I want. Like,
Exactly. Yep.
that's amazing that we are now, getting more into advocating for ourselves, especially when it comes to birthing plans. And I
Yeah.
love that.
Putting that birthing plan, loading it up into your webs. I mean, what is
Yes.
the my chart?
Yes.
Letting them see it. That is,
Exactly.
yeah. We
Letting
was
them
doing that
know
for
what's
all our
up.
doula clients these past couple weeks. I mean, past couple months. Just load it up into your my chart so they can see.
Yeah, see, that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Last year in October, I held a Smart Start and BYE Foundation. We held a event for pregnant mothers. We did a free photo shoot, and had doulas there. We had OBGYNs there. We had all programs that would be helpful for pregnant women. And when I tell you I learned so much about what doulas do and them having, they actually printed out a sheet for the
Mm.
pregnant moms to give them on advocating for what they want in their birthing plan, as
Yep.
well as making sure that their doctor understand what's what. And I
Yep.
love that. I'm like, wow, I needed that when I was pregnant.
Yep. Don't steer away from this. When my baby come out, I want my baby to just lay on my chest, breastfeed. No,
Yes,
no sugar water, no nothing. Yeah.
right, right.
Dim the lights.
Did
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
lot. Yeah.
It really is, even down to keeping the placenta and,
Yep.
keep doing, was it capsules and stuff for that? I'm
Yep.
like,
Yep.
"Wow, I
Yeah.
needed that. Where was that?"
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that you can take your placenta from the hospital. So you
Yeah.
usually end up leaving it there. So
Yep. Yep. Yep, exactly. I love that. Now that we're changing things to where we are actually speaking up and doing things the way we want it done and how according to how we feel. So I love that.
yeah,
I love
me
it.
too.
Now, is there a piece of advice you always share with expecting parents no matter what their birth plan looks like?
Um, Being open and accepting to change because some things might not go as planned for one, and also like expecting moms, like also taking so many videos. Like a good thing that I do before I have another kid, I always do like a video of like when I'm in labor or something like that, like showing how the family was before the other kid came, because a lot of times you might forget like, oh, how
Yep.
his life was before I had these 4 kids, or how or the other kids might forget, what I'm saying? So just
Yes.
breathing in the moment. I think a lot of people have started this new traveling, like when they end up being pregnant, what they
Yeah.
call it, a baby trip or whatever it is, or
Yep.
something like that. I
Yep.
forgot how to call it, but yeah, like that vacation. Yeah,
Yes.
I ain't get one of those yet, but yeah, that's definitely important. It
Yes,
really
it
is.
is. Yes, it is. Because you need to have that time before that baby comes. Ooh,
Yes,
yes.
yes. 'Cause
And
life
then
is gonna change.
yes, it is.
Now it could be for the good, because I mean, depending on your village or whatever, because I
Right.
mean, it's a lot, and that's another thing that a lot of people have to utilize with doulas. Like they're not just good for just prenatal and during labor care. They're good for postpartum. Lean on them
Yes.
for the meals, for that
Yes.
time you need a nap or somebody to assist with you. You know,
Yes. Listen, can you have a doula once your child is like 6 years old? 'Cause
Girl, listen, exact. Look, that might be low key a nanny right there. But
I
I got a friend girl that do that. Yeah,
yes.
mhm,
Listen, we need all the support, all
you
the
do.
support.
Yes, seriously.
We really do. I mean, it's
Mhm.
it's amazing what us women go through and how we manage to hold it all in and take care of things. But that
Yeah,
postpartum depression can be something serious.
yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely lean on a doula or your support
Mhm.
system because it's important to, be mentally there. It's
Yeah.
so important. So, so important. So, can you share a birth experience that really tested you? One that stayed with you?
Okay. Well, the one I was mentioning earlier would definitely be yeah, it do take a village. We do need a vet.
Mhm.
But the one that I'll mention would be the one that she definitely chose at the last minute to not have us present at the birth. And it was kind of hard. Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking because it's like, well, what do we do?
Right.
But at the end, after the birth, she definitely was like, I wish I had you guys there. It was, I guess she was trying to find, she said she has a bad judgment of trying to figure out people.
Yeah.
But it was kind of trying because we knew it was her first labor, right? And we knew it wasn't gonna be short. Because a lot of times we know that your first baby, you're gonna be in labor for a good minute. You're gonna need the support. You're gonna need somebody that's assisting you, rubbing your back, especially if you have back labor or peanut ball, getting on the yoga balls, different
Mhm.
moves. And just like they were young, so we knew that her spouse would need some assistance too, with tagging in, because the man would get tired,
Yes.
and it's a lot on them. It'll get stressful.
Yes.
So yeah, so at that same week of induction, she was like, "Yeah, I don't think I want you guys there." So it was like really trying. Yeah. Long story short, I ended up holding space for them, and they called me when things went the opposite direction. She didn't get to have it naturally. She
Oh,
ended up going in. They was about to take her for the C-section. He was like, and I said, well, do you guys want me to have a prayer with you guys? He said,
yeah.
yes, I really do. So I called him on the phone and I was praying, and it was like, oh my gosh, we're so thankful for you. So it was like, it was still a moment of sadness, but then, it still got turned around.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Just to have that that support,
Yeah.
home support is important too. Especially coming from someone that know what what they're going through.
Yeah.
That's really good. Oh my goodness. I last minute you decide not to?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would hurt. That would break me if I was you. That would break me. 'Cause it's like, wait a minute, that's my baby too.
Yeah. You do be feeling like that too. You do. I
Yeah.
be trying to withdraw, like, no, this their baby. No, I don't want to
Yeah.
be like the hand that rocked the cradle when
Yeah.
she I ain't trying to be like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
Oh
that was
my.
one of my favorite movies too. So that's crazy.
Yes. So have you spoken to them since then?
Yeah, really connect. She actually said, next birth, you're gonna be there.
I
I
love
don't care.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
so
good. That is
yeah.
good. Do you ever
Mhm.
get a time where you're like, I don't want to take you because of a certain reason? Like, is there a time where you decline a client or family or anything like that?
So far, I haven't had one that I declined because of, I guess, because of the questions that I asked, and like the intake.
Okay.
And like currently I'm not doing hospital births because I'm like over the hospital for a present moment. But
Yes.
yeah, but no, I haven't had any that, or even none that I would say like, no, I wouldn't do them over.
Yeah.
So because I think, I guess because I'm a person, I'm like, I try to be so judge free with so much.
Yes.
And like, you have to be in this type of field because you just never know what somebody is going through.
That's right.
And people take one little moment of short texting, short response, and they'll assume so many things, and you just never know what the previous 5 minutes they might have had to deal with before you.
That's
You know,
right.
so
That's right.
as I'm dealing with people, I try to keep that in my mind.
Yeah. Yes, no judgment. Hey, I'm taking you, I'm meeting you where you're at and helping
Thank
you
you.
along that journey. I love that. That's
Yeah,
amazing because that's the way that you can help people. You
yeah,
have to meet them where they're at. You can't just say, hey, you got to be here in order
yeah,
to be able to do this with me. I'm going to meet you where you're at and we're going to get you where you need to
yeah,
be successful on the journey, period.
yeah. You have to. And that's part of the reason why I was offering the free prenatal care, because it's like, it's so many people that want to have these services, but they might not have the resources or the funds to do so. Like, midwives are not expensive, girlfriend. Like, it'd be like $7,000 just for you to come to a birth, like, especially if you're doing a home birth,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So like, yeah, and your insurance might not cover that. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that is tough, to even think about pricing, that weighs on a mother's mental as
Yeah.
well as the spouse's mental, how
Hmm.
we gonna afford that, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. So, now tell me, what is your intake process?
So I have a Google form that you fill out, And then I talk to him on the phone, and just like how we doing right now,
Yeah.
bouncing back and forth. That's my intake process.
Yeah.
Breathe.
So
And
this is normal.
yeah, this is normal. Me just running my mouth and you running yours. And it's confidential. I'm not going back telling people. And that's it. That's the end. That's it.
Wow. Okay. So now is there times where you're just virtually meeting with them? Like have you had clients where it's just virtual or is it all virtual and in person?
It's both virtual and in person. So
Okay.
like if like I have a client now, she wants to do yoga and breathing meditations. So she stays in Statesville, which is 45 minutes away. So of course I'm not going to drive 45 minutes away early. She has kids too as well. So I'm like, we could do something on virtual. Everything don't have to be in person to make it feasible.
Yeah.
So it's basically meeting you, like you said, meeting you where you're at.
I love
Everything don't have to be in, because like I said, I want to make it slide and scale
yeah.
and affordable.
Yes, yes. Now, what is the cost difference? Not and just a roundabout between having a midwife and having a doctor. What's doctor's birth? What's the price difference? Do you have a roundabout number?
So I know that C-sections were costing around, when I was getting them done, about $10,000 to $12,000.
Mm.
Okay, and my midwife, I was charged 3,000, 3,000 and some change. So
Yeah,
that's about the price
that's a
difference. But
big
however,
difference.
but I guess you would. I guess it's different. The difference would be, you have the insurance that cover it.
Mm-hmm.
And well, here in North Carolina is legal, not legal, and all that, the stuff like that. So
Yeah,
in places of Virginia and Utah that you have the free will to just, have home births and they're covering it with insurance or whatever,
yeah.
you don't have those issues. So here in North Carolina, it's hard for midwives to pretty much get paid through insurance.
Oh, wow. So tell me the difference between I didn't know it was a difference in the different states and their little laws or whatever. What is that?
So it's like pretty much where they legalize midwifery. Like in North Carolina, they consider it as like home births as being illegal. Like you would pretty much say, like, right, you would pretty much say like, oh, I just had my baby at the house because I'm trying to think of, how what you say, in the middle of me trying to get to the hospital type thing. Like you wouldn't say,
Oh,
oh, I planned this,
yeah,
because
yeah.
they'll try to prosecute the midwife or something like that. Yeah, like because it's just like they trying to pretty much hold it state, state-wise. But
Yeah.
in Virginia, you can choose to have a home birth and don't have those issues. Or
Interesting.
right. So it's like, girl, and Georgia is doing really well with trying to push, because they're doing the same thing like North Carolina with trying to stop them from having home births, but they're
Wow.
trying to get the laws changed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, definitely gotta get that change because this is our bodies. This is what we want, you know? And I could see if there were high risk things,
yeah,
that get in the way, but no, like
yeah.
if I want that, I'm gonna choose to have that.
Exactly. And they try to make it seem like if you have it at home, it's a problem. You going to jail. Da, da, da. So yeah, because I actually, girl, when I had my second son, I actually asked my I asked my doctor. I said, "Well, do your wife, does she have her babies at the hospital?" He was like, "Oh, he did not answer the question at
Oh,
all." It was an Indian man, girl. Yes, because I was just like, "Well, do you like?" He kept trying to push me to get birth control. I said, "Do your wife take birth control? Like, just
right,
do you like?" I'm just that's just the type of person I am. Like I need to know. Like, would you offer this to your
right,
wife? Like, if you want to offer this to
exactly,
your wife, why you offering it to me? You know
right.
what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna offer nothing to nobody that I went
Wh-
offer to myself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. I'm with you on that
yeah,
100%. Because what? You're
yeah,
gonna tell me I need this and you're not even having it for your family members?
right.
Mm-mm.
Nah, nada. We ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Don't seem right to me.
No, no, at all.
No, thank you.
Right. And he was like, "Yeah, let me just go ahead and get her up out of here."
Yeah, yeah.
He hasn't seen me since.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You
Yep.
know, it took me to my second child is when I had got on birth control again. I had
Yeah.
the Marina, and
Yeah.
um there was just something about it this time that I just was not having it. And
Yeah.
so 2 years in, I took it out. I said, "I'm not doing this no more." I
Yeah.
swear it had my hormones going crazy. It had me feeling crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
just was like, "Nah, we're not doing that."
It will do that.
Yeah.
It do. Because I had it too. I had the IUD. I was
Yeah.
like, let me get this thing taken out.
Yeah. It's a
It's
must.
like your body tries to reject it, you know?
Yes, exactly. So
Mhm.
that's one thing, I won't say that I would recommend, but I
Yeah.
mean, if it's something that your doctor and you discuss and you're okay with it, go right ahead, but I'm not
Yeah.
recommending something that ain't did me right.
Right. And look, I was gonna say now it gets the job done, but I can't even say
Yeah.
that because I had a couple women that said they got pregnant on it. So it's like, I mean,
Ooh, yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
not really helping.
right, I can't even say that. So yeah.
No, no. Ever since I've been off of it, I've been feeling amazing, and it's been
Yeah.
about 6 years, and I'm like, I love this. I have no
Yeah.
birth control, and I will keep it like that. Every
Yeah.
time I go get my checkup, it's like, "You sure you don't want birth control?" Nope.
Do
Mm-mm.
you do
Yeah.
neem oil? If you mind me asking, are you
No.
okay?
Mm-mm. What is that? Tell
Neem
me.
oil. Oh, okay. So neem oil is a natural oil that you would insert before or after intercourse to prevent pregnancy. Yes,
Oh,
girl.
now. Oh, so does that mess with your imbalance or anything like that?
No, it wouldn't.
Hmm.
I've been using
Okay.
it for several years now. Yep. And you know,
Yeah.
papaya seeds are really good. I don't know if
Yeah.
you heard about eating those, but yep, papaya seeds are really good. And I
Wow.
have, and actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, but I'm debuting a natural women contraceptive, well, birth control. I don't want to say birth control, but birth control that I'm be bringing out at this lady's pink picnic. I don't know if you've seen T
Wow.
Snobs, the lady, the Queen Charlotte. She was on the news.
No.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
So I'm gonna
That's
be at her event. I think it's May 25th. So I'm gonna, yep,
awesome. That's amazing, honey. That is great. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you have to definitely share that with me so I can share it with everyone so they can know more about it and how to get it and all
yeah,
that good stuff. Cause that's amazing. But no, I haven't tried anything out outside of me and my husband are adamant about not having no more.
yeah.
So
I know, girl, I know, right? I get you. Not right now.
But listen, I will definitely give that a try because you never know. You might need it one
Yeah,
day. And
yeah,
that knowledge is important to have
yeah,
a backup plan or
definitely.
something.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mhm.
That
I
is
got you.
amazing. I love that. So what made you get into wanting to make something of that nature?
Because I was always inserting the neem oil, and to be honest with you, the neem oil is not the best smelling thing,
Mhm.
and um, it's not the best tasting as of course. But so I was like, you know what? Why not just put this into a capsule form? You know, like
Wow.
so that's why I came up like so put this and I've been holding off on it for so long, Brittany. Like, yeah, like I've girl, yeah, you know how when your creative juices get the juice in, but then
Yes.
you I don't want to put it on right now. I don't,
Right.
and that's how I was built. And then this event, she's like, well, do you want to bring your products? And she's like, it's an all pink event. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just working on the label of this situation and it's
Wow.
all pink. Let me just bring this as the sample bag giveaway. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
Wow.
it'll
Come
work.
full circle. Full
Right. Full
circle.
circle. She's like, oh, it has to be pink. I'm like, it's already pink, girlfriend. So it's going in the sample bags. Yep. Ready
Yes,
for
that's
you.
amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
See, your great work and your passion for your work is amazing. And
Yeah.
we need more people like you to spread the word, to get the information out, to actually make a difference in this world.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm honored to be speaking with you today, honey. You're
Thank
gonna be
you.
famous. Well, you already famous, but you're gonna be famous and it's gonna be everything.
I received it. You too. And I'm
Yeah.
like the first person podcast I spoke on what's pedal perspectives or field perspectives? I know you changed the days.
Yes. Yes,
So,
I feel the
the price
perspective.
just went up.
Thank you. Exactly. I love it. I love it. Yeah, we're gonna definitely when we get more information from you, I definitely want to share it out because it's important, you know. Everybody needs
Yeah,
to know what's out there, you know.
yeah.
And so, you know, your work is intense. So how do you take care of yourself and keep showing up with presence and energy?
Girl, booking my workout classes that I be going to
Ooh.
in these afternoons, whether that's girl, yes, whether it's twerk fit,
Mm.
whatever it look like. Yup, it's
Yes.
judge free and I'm having fun
Oh,
dancing.
yes. Mm.
I've been getting more into dancing and yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That'll definitely release some stress and some
Yes.
tension or, you know, trying to get a situation off of you. Yeah, dancing is really
Mhm.
it. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you do other than dancing?
That I love to do.
Yeah.
Writing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like I have a lot of journals set. Like I just be starting just writing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's definitely
good.
my passion.
Yeah, do you recommend that to your clients,
Yes,
journaling?
that's crazy you said that because my client, yep. I said, don't forget your journal prompt now,
Mhm.
girlfriend. When we meet on Friday, I
Yeah.
need to hear. I need to hear it. Like I need to hear it. 'Cause you
Exactly.
gotta get that off. Like, don't sit with it.
Yeah.
Cause
Mm-mm.
baby, it'll be heavy. And that
Yes.
throat chakra, like I had to like I don't want to go to that's off topic, but this week I really had 36 hours of silence. I put myself on silence.
Ooh.
And I did that homeschooling my kids, girl, a husband, and
Yeah.
my husband texted me while he was at work, says, I really just want to hear your voice. And I'm just like,
Aw.
man, please, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Just, like I had went hoarse over the past week. Like I was like, I really need to just work on my third chakra, my communication. Like I
Mm.
wasn't feeling like my responses. I was getting triggered with the kids with certain things. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put myself on silence. And it really helped me to sit with myself and really see how my voice and my energy really affects the whole house as a
Yes.
whole.
Yes.
And I can be the turning point for good or bad.
That's true.
So I really have to check myself. So like, girl, when I sat in silence, I was like, oh, it was really good. So that was my longest of doing it for real. Like,
I love that for you. Listen, I want that for Mother's Day. Can I get that for 24 hours?
girl, go ahead. Right. Book that hotel, honey.
Yes.
Right. Honey, that's all I want. Hotel. Just book
Yeah.
it. Yup.
You gotta get away sometimes because we
Yeah.
are what make our family go, you know?
Yes.
We just do everything,
Yeah.
and we don't ever get a break,
No.
let
And they ask
alone the
you the simple,
gratitude.
yeah. And they ask you the simplest questions, Brittany. They'd be like, really?
Yeah,
Like you really couldn't have no answer outside of my answer, really?
right.
Okay. All right.
That is the truth.
It is. Like what?
And
Okay.
I'm like, everybody in here has a smartphone. Everybody has Alexa.
Girl.
Ask
Right.
Siri something.
Right. You just
Give me
walk
a
past your
minute.
daddy to ask me to open this? Like, really? He's
And
sitting
you see
right
me in a
there.
meeting.
Right. You see me in the meeting. Girl, right? Like I'm so surprised I got this much time to myself. Hallelujah. Like,
Right.
really? They ain't interrupt. I'm thankful. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. 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 But yes, I do agree with you on getting that silence time, that me time, that time to exercise, that journaling. Journaling truly helped me.
Yes.
It helped me when I was younger. For a while I stopped it, but I got
Yeah.
back on it and it really has helped. I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
just to get it out.
Yeah.
It can be good or bad, but just to get it
Yeah.
out and not have the judgment from someone or telling me I need to change this or change that.
Exactly.
It feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes you just want somebody to listen. Like I tell my husband that too sometimes. I just want somebody to listen.
That's
I
it.
don't even want feedback.
Right.
Like I don't want you to try to solve the problem. I don't
Mhm.
want you to give me what you would do or how I could
Right.
do this better. I just want you to just be some open ears.
That's it.
Like, for real.
That's it.
Yeah.
And in this society, it's always they want to provide the feedback, like it's their life.
Yes.
But you know, that's why
Sure.
journaling is awesome.
Yep. That's why journal is awesome. That's why I ran back to it.
Yes, yes. Now, if someone is feeling called to midwifery, what would you want them to know before stepping into the path?
Everybody path doesn't look the same.
Mm.
I know at first I was going to school to be a RN. I went to school to be a LPN and RN. So it's like you feel a lot of times in this path, you feel the pressure of being a nurse first. And you might like, oh, if I'm not a nurse, I might not look as if I know as much as the CPM, which is not true. It's not going to be the same as the other midwife. And having somebody look up to is also key. Even if you're doing self-study,
Yeah, yeah.
it's all in what you make it, you
Mm,
know and it's not gonna, like I said, it's not gonna look like the next person, because I know I always beat myself up about not being a nurse first and doing this, but it's I felt like I was pushed this direction to go the holistic route, because like I had posted on Facebook, I had got accepted into Queens, but then I didn't end up. I got the letter late, yeah. The letter went to my dad's house, but I had already moved out.
wow.
I think I was 19 or 20 or whatever at the age of, I might have been 21 or whatever at the time. So, girl, yeah, I was like, my dad didn't tell me I had mail. So I was
Wow.
like, okay, yeah. So I feel like I was pushed to go the holistic route and go through
Mhm.
the trying times that I went through to actually
Yeah.
have the experience to help other people. Because I
Mm,
wouldn't, if I had have been a nurse first, I'm more than likely I probably would just be stuck, not stuck, but more so into the hospital birth realm,
yep.
and
Mhm.
I would have the hospital perspective. Now I feel like the path that I went, I have both perspectives.
Yes.
I've had the two C-sections, I've had the home birth, I've had a child that passed away. So I know how it feels to transition, so it's like I have all these different experiences off of not going to be a nurse. You see what I'm saying? So
Wow.
everybody, yeah,
Wow. So that's amazing that, you went that route and you were able to have that lived experience to not only help you, but help your clients, your family, the support
yeah,
that they have. That's amazing. Because
yeah.
lived experience is so much
Woo.
better than
Girl,
being in these books,
girl,
for the most
yes.
part.
Yes, that's what I'm like. If you're not an entrepreneur, you cannot comment on being a business owner for real,
Yes.
like, baby. Because
Yes.
listen, we are the marketing team. We are
Yes.
the website. We
Oh
are
my
all of this, honey. Okay,
everything.
listen, we're everything in one package.
And not to and you're not even including your outside of
Yes,
that. You being the mother, you being a sister, a daughter, a friend, even if you are still working a 9 to 5, like, that's
yes.
a lot.
To fund that entrepreneurship, to fund that
Exactly.
passion. Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's listen, that's amazing
Yeah,
to
they be
have
heavy
that.
on us.
Yeah. Yes,
Mhm.
it is. It's a lot being an entrepreneur, and I applaud everyone that does it.
Yes.
I'm working my way into it, but I've had businesses in and out, but
Yeah.
I think I'm at the age where I am being very intentional of where I want to go
Mhm.
and how I want to go,
Yeah.
instead of just doing it as a hustle mentality. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
You have great passion with it. Like,
thank
your
you.
voice is so beautiful.
Thank you. I
So
try,
yeah.
I try. Just recognizing people that are out here doing some amazing work, it
Yeah.
lightens me, and so, I want the whole world to see what I see.
Yeah.
And so having you here today is really, bringing so much light to what you do and how you help families, not just, with the support and all, but if they don't go with a doula or midwife, they at least have the piece of advocating
Yeah.
for themselves of what they need and want. So I
Yeah.
love that. I love
Yeah. Because you can get with a doula, and just if you just need help with a birthing plan,
Wow.
and you don't want to have a doula, they'll do that too. They do birthing
Really?
plans. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah.
And hopefully my viewers are learning something new too.
Right.
Exactly. So now, if you had the power to change one thing about how our culture approaches birth, what would it be?
It would be how they think that it's a frantic moment.
Mm,
Thinking, yeah, like I was saying earlier, with being on the hospital, I mean, not being on the hospital, being on the TV, the first thing you think about is people running around, thinking is, oh, this woman just screaming, she's in so much pain, and it's not one of those things.
yeah.
It's a sacred moment, just holding space. A lot of some women birth and don't even feel pain, like they do hypnobirthing, so it's like educating and knowing what to do during birth is really important,
Yes.
because you will think that, oh, I'm being so much pain. What am I going to do at this moment? Or I have to go to the hospital at this present moment. Like, you have these women that think that you have to go as soon as they water break or as soon as this happened. Like, I have to be there. And if it's
Yeah.
your first kid, it might, I mean, well, even though some people do have quick labors, even on their first kid, but
Yeah.
if it's your first kid, you might have a couple more hours later. And
Right?
yeah. So if you go to the hospital, as soon as something happens, once they start sticking their hands up there, they be like, oh, well, you in risk of infection. And now you
Mm,
borderline playing with the C-section words, and so
yeah.
yeah, it's just knowing when to be frantic and when not to be. And then it's really honestly not no moment to be frantic. You have to approach it at a calmly manner, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
If you have a doula or midwife, they know when to call the hospital, and
Yep.
they know when to transport you to the hospital, and it's not going to be those type of situations of what people see on TV.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I hope we do change how we view that, because that's how I was with my first pregnancy. I said, "Oh, this is about to be ugly. This is
Yeah,
gonna be ugly." But I am glad that I was calm, even though I seen what I seen.
yeah.
I'm glad I was calm and able to get myself together, because my mom was there. She was very
Oh,
supportive,
yeah.
and it was like, okay, this is
That's
gonna be
beautiful.
okay. Shoot, she went through 5 births natural, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be all right.
Oh, mom. See, look, mom don't even know. She a midwife too. She don't even know
Yes,
it.
exactly, exactly. And
Oh,
listen, I love it for her. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, she actually had 6. One did pass away,
Okay.
when she was born premature.
Yeah.
This was before me, and that would have been her, first girl, but I'm her
Okay.
only girl and the last one.
Oh, yeah. Look
And
at
so,
you.
and that's another thing. You just recently had an event. Please tell us about it.
Which event you talking about?
Your grief event, your candlelight.
Yeah, girl,
Yes.
yes. It was wonderful. Like I put up the poster asking people that just had some people that passed away. And I wanted to just light a candle and hold space because I knew my daughter's birthday was coming around.
Yeah.
And it's so important because in our community, it's like, don't talk about grief. Don't
Yeah.
even ask her how she's doing.
Yeah.
Like in my family, nobody really reaches out to even ask, like, well, how are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah.
It's like this ancient art of we know, but we don't want to say nothing, and
Mhm.
it's not okay. Like it's okay for the person to talk about it, to be open about it, and ask them if they're okay. It's not no many times that I don't think that somebody get aggravated with you keep asking them if they're okay, or
Right.
just what I'm saying, or checking on them, or just take like I went to a grief support group the other week. And they was like, just pick up our kids for real,
Yeah.
like give us a moment to just think, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't
Exactly.
be asking no questions. Just pick the kids up, or shoot, just drop off a meal or something, like it's
Something.
all of those things, So
That's
I just want to
amazing.
hold space because I know
So
I don't have that as much as a village of holding space for grief.
yeah.
And yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I love that. I love that. I would have been there if I didn't have previous engagements. But listen,
Yeah.
because I was pregnant in my tubes with the the last one, not the last one, but it would have been my third birth. But
Okay.
I was pregnant in my tubes, and unfortunately, we had to end that pregnancy. And when I tell you, it was so like. shocking at first, but I
Yeah.
don't think it really hit me until a
Mhm.
couple months later when it was my due date and I
Yeah.
didn't have that baby, you know?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
tough. That
It's
was
definitely a
truly tough.
denial. It's definitely a denial and a weird space of energy
Yeah,
right there, you know? Like,
yeah,
you're like, "Did I" like, and then you go through this process of thinking like, "Well, did I do something wrong? What
right.
could I have done better?" You know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's truly, truly tough, and that's amazing that you held space for people to, to grieve.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that because we don't have spaces like that. So
Yeah.
we definitely want to keep up top with your events and all. Definitely want to get in contact with you. What are some ways to get in contact with you?
Rebirthing. Well, I said rebirthing. Rebirth out of us.
Yeah.
And then of course, Rebirthing the Star Facebook page.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And
Mhm.
so if people want services or have questions, they can contact you there. I
Yep.
love that you post information, not just about birthing, but mental health and
Yes.
things that women are needing after birth and things. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So that it takes a village, it takes a community, it takes
Yeah.
people needing people.
Yeah. Yeah. They do. It's sad to say. Sometimes we be feeling like I'm sick of people, but no, we need each other for real, you know?
Yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. So do you have any other than the pink event, do you have any other events coming up that we can support you in?
So far, no. I
Okay. Okay, well, we'll definitely support and share out the information. We love to hear about, all your new adventures. Please keep us updated. I'm talking about it's like it's me and the podcast.
Yeah, I get you. I got you. I got you.
But yes, please keep me updated. I would love to share their information. And I know your babies and your husband waiting on you, so I'm not gonna keep you much longer.
Girl, listen, they didn't even check on me. They know that they really stern on that not coming in interrupting me. They popped in once just now and they was like, okay. And
Yeah.
they took me home.
And when I tell you that is amazing to have that support where they're like, "Okay, yeah, mommy doing her
Yep.
thing. Let's
Yep.
let her be."
Yes. Girl, they got me 24/7 because I homeschool my kids. So
Yes. That's amazing. That might be another conversation I need you to come back on. 'Cause
look,
I
because
would
girl, they were
love
like, how do you do it? What's the patience? Because yeah,
that part.
yeah, it's
Teach
definitely a
me
lot.
something. Teach me something because I need to know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes. Well, I definitely appreciate you being here, Rietta, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. This has been some amazing information. Definitely educating our viewers, educating myself.
Yeah. Thank
So,
you for having me.
yes, I appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Yes, girl.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you. That was amazing. Listen, as we close, I am struck by how much wisdom lives in the stories we rarely slow down to hear, like the ones Rietta shared with us today. And birth isn't just a medical event, it's an unfolding of strength, surrender, and connection. Now, if this conversation moved you or means something to you, please share it with someone who might need it. And if you're walking in your own path into parenthood, caregiving, or healing work, may you feel seen, supported, and reminded that you are not alone. Thank you for joining us in the field. Until next time, y'all have a good one and thank you so much. Every perspective is a seed, every story a horizon. Thank you for walking this field with us. If today's conversation sparked something within you, stay with us. There are many landscapes to explore. Subscribe, share, and keep the conversation growing. Until next time, keep your heart open to the fields ahead.